what's Michelle I Loves Books? Welcome back to my channel. Today I just wanted to talk about some books that are coming out in the month of January. All the books on this list are like YA, fantasy, and in the future I hope to be able to add adult books and things like that. So I have broken it up into sequels and series starters, and they are also organized by which ones come out first. So let's just get into it. Now, as for the sequels, I don't know a whole lot about the books because I haven't even started any of these, and that might be something that I want to add to my TBR for the month of January to prep for the new sequels. The first one I have is coming out on January 7th, and that is A Heart So Fierce and Broken. It is the second book of the Cursebreaker series by Brigid, which is a Beauty and the Beast retelling. I was dying to read this book. I went and picked it up pretty soon after it came out, and I still haven't read it, but I am really excited to get into that series. I definitely think I'm going to be among one of the ones that love that series. I'm really excited for the sequel to be coming out. Now I just have to play catch up. The next one scheduled to come out also on January 7th is The Night Country, which is the second book from the Hazelwood series by Melissa Albert. From what I gather, this is like a fairy tale book, so it's a fantasy. Again, I haven't read the first book. The next one is scheduled to come out on January 14th, and that is The Conference of the Birds, which is the fifth book in the Mrs. Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children series by Ransom. And I have not read this series yet either. I have like 3 of the books. Yeah, they're actually right here, which I'm dying to get to that series as well. And the final book I have for sequels coming out in January it's scheduled to come out on January 21st. It's called The Hand on the Wall, which is the third book in the Trilogy-Devious series, and I believe it is the final book in the trilogy as well. I do know a little bit about Trilogy-Devious. Our main character, she goes to this unique boarding school, and she's obsessed with Sherlock Holmes and solving mysteries, and she's determined to solve the crime of the boarding house, of what happened at the boarding house. And I guess she's gonna wrap up the mystery in this last book. I did read the first book, but I had a really hard time kind of connecting to it. I feel like I missed a lot. Next up, I have 4 series that are going to start in January. The first one is going to be released January 7th, and that is Scavenge the Stars-Tara Sim. From what I gather, this is about our main character, Amaya, and she wants one thing, and that is revenge for a man that has ruined her life and the life of her family. There's deception, and she's supposed to discover this truth of her past. It also looks like there's going to be like an enemies to lovers, and it's described as like a high-stakes adventure romance. It's also said that this is it's like a gender swap retelling of The Count of Monte Cristo, and it's perfect for fans of Sarah J. Maas, Sabaa Tahir, and Leigh Bardugo. So it's got me there. I'm really intrigued by this story. I will be keeping tabs on that one. The next one is coming out on January 14th, and that is called Infinity Sun, from the Infinity Cycle by Adam Silvera. And apparently it's about these 2 brothers who are caught up into like a magical war. So it looks like there are people that have powers, and then there are people who, like a vigilante group that wants to rid people of powers by stealing the essence of magical creatures. Again, that sounds totally up my alley. Pretty excited for this one. The next one is coming out on the 21st, and that is called A Queen in Hiding from the 9 Realms series by Sarah Kozloff. This is a debut author, and this story is about coming of age of a ruler or queen. She has been orphaned, exiled, and hunted, and also she is supposed to master her personal magic and become like this ruthless fighter, and then also become this queen that she's just destined to become. Apparently there's supposed to be 4 books, and they're all supposed to come out within a month of each other. So it looks like if you're really into the series, you won't have to wait long to get the sequel. I personally love a story that talks about royalty. I don't know what it is about that concept, but this one really intrigued me because it seems like she starts out her life like really rough, and so she has to go from nothing to queen. I'm just really intrigued by this. Next up, coming out on January 28th, is The Frost Eater from the Magic Eaters trilogy. So it's about a princess. She's 17 years old, and she is a frost eater, and she can create magical ice. Cray also has a magical talent when he eats magical feathers, he can like fly, but he's on a mission to find his missing girlfriend, and Nora offers to help because she is craving some adventure. Although Cray hates the monarchy, he's desperate enough to find his girlfriend, so he allows her to help. So obviously they set off on this adventure, and so it just sounds so cute. Next up, I have books that have piqued my interest that are also coming out in January. Again, on January 7th, we have Nameless Queen by Rebecca McLaughlin, and this is kind of a rags to riches. This girl must make a name for herself or die trying, and it's like a royal fantasy where a peasant becomes a ruler. However, I guess a lot of people don't like her, so the question is, how long can she keep her crown when everybody wants her dead? The next one coming out on January 7th is Woven in Moonlight by Isabel Ibanez. Now, I did actually read the first impression of this book, and it sounds so good. The way it's written is really beautiful. I mean, it was kind of hard to really get a feel for the book, but it feels really rich with like culture. There is a lot of Spanish in there, Spanish language. I believe it's Spanish language. It sounds Spanish to me. So they have these condesas, which is like a queen of sorts, and our main character, Zemina, is the decoy condessa, and she's standing in for the last remaining Illustrian royal. Her people have lost everything to the Atok, who use this like ancient relic to summon ghosts and drive the Illustrians from La Ciudad. And now Zemina wants revenge, and she has a rare ability to spin thread into moonlight. The next one also comes out on January 7th, and that is When Stars Are Bright by Amber R. Duell. Duell, I think Duell. Apparently this is a historical Thumbelina retelling. That alone just, I don't really need to read the rest of the synopsis. That just sounds adorable anyways. So we have a Dutch 17-year-old girl who has a flair for singing, not spinning, singing. She is very excited for this next coming up year because she feels that her boyfriend is going to propose to her, and her mother will finally see that their relationship is not just a passing phase, as they put it, but then a stranger comes and snatches her away and changes everything. Another one coming out on the 7th is A Love-Hate Thing by Whitney D. Our main character, Tyson, finds himself tossed into a wealthy coastal town. And then we have Nandy, who has spent most of her life making sure that she has this pristine image that it takes to fit in with this community, this like wealthy community. So I guess this Tyson moves into her house, and they have rooms right next to each other, and I guess they don't get along. I'm assuming that he probably doesn't fit in because he didn't grow up in that kind of community, but they have this growing attraction to each other that cannot be denied. So we're gonna have this love-hate relationship, rags to riches, and high society. Those are things that I love in books. On January 14th, we have Dark and Deepest Red by Anna Marie McLemore. So back in 1518, a sickness sweeps through Strasbourg. Women start dancing in the streets, and some of them drop dead from dancing so much. So there are suspicions of witchcraft and suspicion towards Lavinia and her family. So Lavinia has to probably do something to save herself and her family. Moving forward into the present, our main character, Olivia, finds red shoes strapped to her feet that she cannot take off, and they make her dance uncontrollably. Because of this, they draw her to this boy who knows of the dancing fever history better than anyone. 500 years, it was his family 500 years ago that were blamed for the fever. But apparently there is more to the story about what happened in 1518. So they will discover the truth of what happened and see if they can save Olivia's life. The next one comes out on January 21st. The next one comes out on January 21st, and that is The Circus Rose by Betsy Cornwell. This is supposed to be a queer retelling of Snow White and Rose Red. It says, teenage twins battle evil religious extremists to save their loves and their circus family. It also says that it's perfect for fans of Leigh Bardugo, Mackenzie Lee, and Laini Taylor. We only have two more. The next one comes out on January 25th. I was kind of confused about this. because it just has a Kindle release date, but when I looked it up on Amazon, it doesn't look like this book even has a print edition. I don't know. I've never seen that before, but regardless, this book comes out on Kindle on January 25th. It sounded really good, and it's called Ink and Arrows by Shruti. I'm sorry, I am butcher that name. It's about an artist who inks magical tattoos. That alone, I didn't even need to know anything else about this book. That sounds so good. So Rhea is part of this Silvera, which is part of a tribe that can create tattoos that have powers. There's also a Prince Sebastian who is searching for power. He's the heir to the throne, and he's a warrior. He's really intrigued by her rebellious nature, and he agrees to grant her 3 wishes in exchange for a magical tattoo. So that sounded really good. It kind of reminds me of Shadowhunter runes. So that's really cool. And the last one I have for you is coming out on January 28th, and that's called A Lookalike by Erica Spindler, and this is a thriller. It's a thrilling psychological drama about a woman who believes that she has escaped a brutal murder. She grew up with her mother who has these paranoid delusions. After years, she has come back to her home to confront her mother and find out the truth about this unsolved murder. And apparently nobody believes her, and they kind of, I guess, lead you to believe that she might have like paranoid delusions about the entire thing too. So I think it's going to be kind of like trying to figure out what is real versus what is fake. Is she crazy? Is she telling the truth? So I think it's going to be kind of a puzzle. I'm pretty excited about this. There are so many books coming out every single year. All of them sound so good to me. These were just some that I really am excited for and I wanted to share with you. And this is something I really want to try to do every month, like right before the next month, so that you guys all know what's coming out that month. I really wanted to give you guys a list of when the release dates are. So I hope that you enjoyed this. I hope that you find this helpful. If there's any books that you are anticipating that was not on this list and you would like to drop them below, go ahead. Thanks for watching. Bye.